Konnichiwa minasan. Watashi wa L desu. Hello, it's Sasa, and today I'm cosplaying as L from Death Note. If you haven't watched it, you better go watch it right now. It's super awesome. Highly recommend it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. This video is actually a sewing tutorial on how to make invisible seamless pockets. So here I have an example right here. And as you can see, there's a seam that goes right along here, and this is actually the side seam right here. And it's really convenient to have pockets in dresses that you can put like your cell phone or whatever. So see how this, when it's iron flat, you can't see that there's a pocket there. It just looks like a seam, but actually if you open this, there's a hidden pocket right here. So to do this is fairly simple. It's not that extra work. So I've actually added some extra of the same fabric. You can do the pockets in the same fabric. That way, if you move around, then you won't be able to see anything. Or if it's like cotton doesn't move, so you don't have to worry about that. This is what the inside looks like. And so I'm going to show you guys step by step how to do that. Okay, so we have the pocket here. And so this, I'm making a dress, and this is going to be the right side seam. You can decide whether or not to have a right pocket or left or both. I'm only going to have one because the other side there's going to be a zipper. So here's this, and it's important, it depends on your fabric. Obviously this one, you have to make sure that this lines up. So this is a little bit more extra work, just more patience to make sure everything lines up. And so here's the pocket. So you have to cut it in two pieces. And this fabric is cotton, and this is polycotton, also known as broadcloth. And when you're making a skirt or whatever dress with cotton, you can use white or black polycotton for the pockets. That's what I normally use. However, if you're making a dress that is a different kind of fabric other than cotton, like polyester or something more silky, you might want to make the pocket in the same color fabric, or at least half, so you could like join, like cut this right here just for this part to be in the same fabric, so that way when you walk or when you move, you'll be able to see the opening, right? But with this, because it's cotton and we'll iron it down, it'll be perfectly seamless and you won't see anything. So for the pocket size, it really depends on how big you want. This is kind of a general shape. I have an opening of about 7 inches, and then there's a little notch that goes in. The total length is 14 inches because I want something really deep. See, look, this is the opening. It goes down here, so nothing is going to fall out. And this way is about 7.5 inches. Okay, so you cut 2 of those, and the top of my skirt is going to be gathered attached to the bodice. So you have to decide, you put the dress to you and whereabouts you want your pocket located, because remember that your hand will come in here and it needs to go down. So if the pocket is too low, you're going to have to bend down to get to the bottom of the pocket. Okay, so right now I have this too. It's going to be down like this, and we want to make sure we line this up right there. Okay, and now we're going to sew a 1 centimeter seam on both sides of the 2 pockets. Here you can see that I just serged off the edges. This way you won't have any raw edges whatsoever. So after you did that, you sewed the pocket here, I just sewed from there to there with the serger. So now we want to iron the seam towards the pocket. This helps keeps it flat, so when we put the 2 pockets together, it'll be perfectly seamless. So taking the right sides together, so you can see we have this, so right sides together. So pretty much we need to pin it now, and we're going to sew around here, leaving this open, right? So this part, the pinning is really important. You want to make sure you line up the top edges of the pocket, as well as I have a panel, so I have to make sure that that's lined up well. And especially right here when you have the pocket, there's these two, the white where the pocket joins the fabric. You want those 2 parts to line up. Okay, so once you've got that pinned down here, we'll have to pin around the pocket as well. So you really want to make sure that this is perfectly flat and stretched out. If you pin this a little bit over here, there will be like a bubble. So one will be the opening one side will be too larger than the other. That will cause you, the pocket will no longer be hidden because there will be a bump. So what I do is you make sure you hold this area flat and you stretch out both the edges. We'll just pull up, make sure that there's no bumps, smooth it out, right? Line this up. But with cotton, it's very easy, so there isn't much of it. Let me pin that down. And then I make sure I line up the rest of my panel the rest of the way. And then now we're going to go and sew a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. So go around here and down there. Okay, so when you're getting around here, we want to make sure that obviously this opening here, so you're going to sew about maybe a centimeter, 2 centimeters down here, and then we're going to pivot and cross over here, okay? And make sure that these 2 seams here, same underneath, is flat. So we're going to go up, pivot, we're back around here. So we're gonna sew up here, and then we're gonna cut across. You make sure you get at least another 1 centimeter and a centimeter and a half over this joint area, okay? And once you get over here, you want to see how many stitches. So I did about 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3, so that this part, when you finish the seam, it will be lined up. So once we cross here, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 stitches before we pivot. So right here, once again, you want to pull it and make sure that the pocket is flat. So now 1, 2, 3. Pivot again, and now we'll finish off the bottom seam. Okay, so after I finish the sewing machine, I always just flip it to the right side just to check to make sure that everything was okay. So it looks like this. See, there's a pocket. Seamless, nice and flat. So after that, once it's checked, if there's a minor mistake, you can undo it and try again. I just use my serger to finish off the edges so that it's nice and clean. So here, it's pretty much the same thing. I serged here, around, looped right there. Okay, so that's it. So now we're going to iron the pocket flat. So if this is a right pocket, you have to, or a left pocket, you have to figure out which way the seam needs to go for your hand to naturally slide in. So this is the right pocket, so my right hand would go in, so we need the seam to go that way. Right. The final thing I like to do is that, see how this pocket goes up and down like this, so it could flip the wrong way. I just like to sew a little bit down here, so make sure this is flat, because if you take it too long, this will mess up, right? So nice and flat, just sew it right here. My cake is done. Okay, and you just need a couple stitches right here, and then it'll be finished. So there we have it, our seamless pocket. There, you can put lots of stuff, very practical. So it's really not that difficult to do. So you can probably put this into every pants, skirts, and shorts, whatever. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I hope you learned something. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them away in the comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.